This agreement has far-reaching implications that go way beyond geographic borders. The potential gains could be many, but there are risks too. In the next 4 minutes, we'll decode this truce in West Asia. We'll tell you what it means for the key players: Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf, the United States, even India. What does India stand to gain? We'll discuss all of that. Let's start with Qatar. It is clearly the biggest winner. Qatar was punching above its weight, pushing its own foreign policy, endorsing the adversaries of the Gulf powers. Qatar seemed to have succeeded. The blockade failed to damage it. Qatar has the world's third largest proven natural gas reserves. It managed to leverage that wealth. Despite the blockade, the economy continued to grow after 2017. In fact, Qatar achieved a fiscal surplus while major Gulf countries were reporting a deficit. Qatar learned to live with the blockade and thrive despite it. Then we have Saudi Arabia. For Riyadh, this is an embarrassing retreat. It wanted to isolate Qatar, it failed. But the truce is still a good move for Saudi Arabia. Let me explain how it works for them. A new president is going to take office in America. Joe Biden has publicly criticized Saudi Arabia on the issue of human rights. He even threatened to reassess Washington's ties with Riyadh, though it may have been an exaggeration because, frankly, what are his options in the region? Anyway, Saudi Arabia reportedly wanted to soften the Biden administration with this truce. It shows that Riyadh is willing to engage with its Gulf neighbors rather than fight them. What about the Gulf region? What does the truce mean for the region? One word: possibilities. At a time when their economies are under strain, this truce spells good news. You see, the blockade had split the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, as I said, an alliance between Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the UAE. All of these are oil-based economies. They're all bleeding because of the Wuhan virus pandemic. This year, this bloc, GCC, has lost $270 billion in oil revenues, $270 billion. It has left a major hole in their budgets. According to one estimate, the GCC countries will have a deficit of close to $500 billion till 2023. Now, these countries still depend on oil revenues. They'll need the support of each other to tide this crisis. The GCC countries wanted to join forces. They tried to deepen their economic links through a common market, through a customs union, shared currency, a central bank. But all of these decisions have not been implemented yet. Why? Because of the deep mistrust within the bloc. The UAE still has doubts about Qatar's intentions. Qatar's close ties to Turkey and Iran have made Saudi Arabia uneasy. While Qatar felt betrayed by its neighbors, the UAE, Bahrain and Egypt, that's because they sided with Saudi Arabia 3 years ago. For Qatar, this was a stab in the back. This mistrust is what the Gulf countries will have to overcome if they want to work together and rebuild their economies. This is their chance. Next comes the United States. It has reason to celebrate because this is a truce between allies. All the major Gulf powers that are involved, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE and Bahrain, they all have military alliances with the US. 525. Qatar hosts the region's largest military base. Bahrain is home to the US Navy's 5th Fleet. American troops are stationed in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. So peace among these neighbors is essential for America's West Asia policy. The blockade would have been a headache for Joe Biden because his administration wants to work with the Gulf powers and mount a united response to bring Iran back to the 2015 nuclear deal. So in a way, the Trump administration is leaving a gift behind for Joe Biden. And finally, what about India? How can India benefit from this truce? What does this agreement mean for New Delhi? First of all, it opens a possibility to enhance economic ties. The border between Saudi Arabia and Qatar is now open, so goods can move freely between these borders. It's good news for Indian businesses, also for the Indian expats in West Asia. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar and Bahrain, these countries together make up for nearly 70% of Indian expats. 70% of the Indians who live abroad live in these countries. This is bigger than the population of Finland. Collectively, India receives nearly $40 billion in remittances from this bloc. This is half of India's total foreign remittances. India is looking to engage with West Asia on multiple levels now, well beyond remittances: economic, strategy, military, diplomatic. The success of India's West Asia policy also depends on peace and harmony among these Gulf powers. So to cut a long story short, this deal is a win-win for all. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.